Hey, Crosswatcher for Gemini. Welcome to your cross-watching video for the month of July 2019. This is a general reading, my darlings, so all of it may resonate, some of it may resonate, not much of it may resonate. That happens. But I promise you this, if Spirit has brought you here to this video, there is at least one message in it for you, so pay attention. If you're a Gemini and you're watching just because you want to see if Amethyst hit the nail on the head and you know was able to catch what you're going through, once again, my darlings, keep in mind that these are general readings, so the same general reading rules apply. Also, Gemini, maybe if you're watching to see a checkup on me, maybe your person isn't watching my channel to cross-watch. Maybe your person doesn't believe in tarot readings. So sometimes that can be a factor as well, as fire trucks go zooming by, or ambulances. Somebody might be rushing in. Something might be happening. That could be a message for us. We'll see how it pertains to the cards that come up. And again, guys, I'm not about spilling tea on this channel. I'm not about spying. I always say a little prayer before I start the reading in my head, and I ask that accurate truth come through, and I ask that the information that come through be for the highest good of Gemini, of Crosswatcher, that this bring in positivity, rebuilding, healing when appropriate. You know, anything that is in everybody's best and highest good for all involved. And in some cases, bring healing or closure if needed, you know. That's my goal here. My goal isn't here to be some sneaky Pete, you know, or to get anybody's dirty laundry. So, okay, very nice. We have Ace of Air starting off our reading here, the foundation of what's going on in July. And Ace of Air is a really positive card because it has to do with communication and thinking, you know, like making, getting ideas about new ways of approaching things. So your Gemini is probably experiencing a lot of mental clarity. So if you've been dealing with a situation where your Gemini was confused, or they were feeling a little bit foggy, or they were having a hard time making up their mind, or they just kind of felt discouraged, or they were having negative thoughts. You know, Ace of Air lets us know that a lot of that in July is being cleared away. It's a healthier approach. It's a healthier way of looking at things. It's a healthier way of thinking about things. I'm hearing that some of you are dealing with Geminis who are overcoming this really intense habit of being very down on themselves, like really having very negative thoughts about themselves and judging themselves and blaming themselves in their head, and that maybe has caused them to be moody or like to withdraw or to pull away, but they're able to clear a lot of that away in July. So it's a more positive thinking, clearer thinking Gemini that you're going to be dealing with. And if you've been waiting for communication, Ace of Air could say that that's a very likely thing that's going to be coming in. Next, you have Two of Earth. So now that they're thinking more clearly, they might be coming into action, you know, taking action, trying to make things happen here, moving forward, but they may really have their hands full, okay? They may really have a lot going on, and they may be having to try to balance things or juggle things to move ahead. Some of your Geminis are getting into this idea of wanting to gather information or learn information. So some of them might be in school or going back to school, or they might be like taking some kind of course or trying to get some kind of certification, and they may have their hands very full with that. This card came up for one of the other signs, and it had a completely different vibe to it than it has for you guys. You guys have more of like the productive kind of vibe. Keep in mind though that with Two of Earth or Two of Pentacles, this is someone who's going to be very busy and have their hands very, very full. So again, you might feel like they're trying to get you in like just kind of at their convenience, that it may feel that way to you, like they're just kind of squeezing you in when they can. They're not trying to snub you, they're not trying to be rude, they're not trying to be a jerk, but they have a whole lot else going on. They have a lot else going on. If you're dealing with a Gemini, you have to keep something in mind, guys, too. This reading is gonna, a lot of it is gonna depend, like the way that it applies to you. A lot of it is going to depend if you're dealing with a high vibrational Gemini or a low vibrational Gemini. Are you dealing with a Gemini that is mature and they've done their work and they're getting it together? Or are you dealing with a Gemini who maybe is, you know, hurting or sabotaging themselves, or lower vibe? If you have a lower vibe Gemini, and if you have somebody that you have caught them in the past, maybe like having other people around, Two of Earth would say they may still be doing some juggling. Okay, they may still be doing some juggling. They may have not released or let somebody go entirely just yet. That's not for all of you. That this is more coming in as a confirmation for those of you who already have in the past caught this Gemini with other people, or, you know, kind of like juggling other relationships. They may still have something that they're juggling, for those of you who are dealing with that level or that vibration of person. Next, we have Seven of Earth. Okay, so this is telling us that your Gemini wants to be with you, Crosswatcher, but they may have a lot that they're trying to juggle and a lot that they're trying to do, and they're realizing that this relationship is going to be a lot of work. Some of you are dealing also with a Gemini that is coming to the realization that they want to be with you and they're going to let that other relationship go, but they're realizing that it's going to be some work, or it's not going to be easy. There may be things that are kind of in the mix. There could be some kind of financial way they're tied together. There could be children. There could be certain things where they're going to have to redefine the boundaries before they can walk away and just focus on the relationship and the connection with you. Seven of Earth tells us a couple of different things. It tells us that this is a relationship and this is a connection that can actually go somewhere. It can be beneficial, it can grow, it can be abundant, but it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time. Okay, so this is telling me that your connection may not be entirely smooth, because there's a pretty good chance, for me in my readings, especially in my love readings, when I see Seven of Earth, it tells me that you are two people with very different communication styles. Like, you might express your feelings differently, you may communicate differently, you may, you know, just have different views of how things work or how things should be. So you all in July are going to be getting used to each other a little bit more. If you've been with your Gemini for a while, or if you've already been dating, you guys are getting to know a different side of one another that maybe you haven't seen before. And I don't mean it in a negative way. I don't mean it in a scary way, like, oh my goodness, I didn't know you were this kind of person. I don't mean it like that. I just mean that your understanding for one another is deepening. We all have many layers, right? We're all kind of complex creatures. So this is giving me a sense or a feeling that in July, and keep in mind, you know, we've got the Mercury retrograde, we've got the Pluto retrograde. So there's a lot of feelings that are coming up for people at this time. There's a lot of big transformations that's happening for a lot of people at this time. So as emotions and things are coming to the surface, you all are going to be discovering sides of each other, or experiences that you didn't know that the other had gone through. You're going to be seeing different shades of one another, and you're having to learn how to communicate. You're having to learn how to work around that, how to make it flow, how to get into sync with one another. This is going to be work. This is not going to be a walk in the park, piece of cake kind of relationship. Like communication, you're going to have to make effort. To spend time together, you're going to have to make effort. You know, finding how your partner is going to feel appreciated. You guys are having to figure that out together, mutually making effort. The next card here is Seven of Air. And so Seven of Air is a card that is coming up when there could be some disappointments sometimes with Seven of Air. Sometimes with Seven of Air, we feel like we've lost something, or we feel like something is not there, or we feel like somebody is being sneaky with us in some way, or we're questioning the motives of another person. So those of you who are dealing with a sneaky Gemini, where you have caught this person like disappoint you in the past or playing you in the past, they might be trying to convince you really hard to let them back in. They might be resurfacing, and they might be trying really hard to let themselves back in, for those of you who've been dealing with this in and out kind of Gemini. And if that's happening, you got to put them through the Seven of Pentacles. You got to make them work, because I have a very big feeling when I see Seven of Swords that this is someone that has been very sneaky, and they've tried to access whatever information they can access about you. If you have social media, they may have tried to access your social media to see what they can see, what they have access to, figure out what's going on in your life. What are you up to? What are you into? What are you feeling? They may even have created a fake profile and try to get in under like a fake friend request or something, or sending your friends fake friend request or follow request to see if through that they can see if your friends are commenting on their stuff. Like, they may have gotten really sneaky here to try to get information about you. And even if you're not on social media, they may have been asking around, or they may have been doing what they can to figure out what's going on with you, so that they know how to approach you, so that they can know what maybe is going to work for them, that if they say this thing or that thing, that it's going to get your attention, that's going to get you to let them in. Usually when I see Seven of Air or Seven of Swords, someone's trying to either get into your pockets or get into your pants, or both. Maybe they're going to go through your pants to try to get into your pockets, or whatever. There's usually like something that they're trying to get from you, and it can be a little bit of a game. Like, they're figuring out what you want, and they're pretending to be that person. They're putting on that mask to wow you. So those of you who have this Gemini that comes in and out, all the signs are here. You're being told to be careful, to be cautious, be very cautious, because they may be up to some old games. If you are in a relationship with this Gemini and things are a little bit more solid for you, and you know that you're dealing with a Gemini that's not being a player, and you know that you're dealing with a Gemini who's in a relationship with you, you know that it's like a for real legit relationship. This Seven of Air, I told you, sometimes Seven of Air can be a feeling of loss. So I feel like what's happening is, as you guys are working really hard to make this relationship work, and it's that hard work, that Seven of Pentacles work, you might start feeling like, oh, that loving feeling is gone, or the passion is gone, or, you know, the joy of the relationship is gone. And it doesn't have to be that way. You know, this is saying it doesn't have to be all work and no play. This relationship can really benefit by you guys doing something together to have a good time. It doesn't always have to be, what is our plan for the future? What are we doing? You know, let's go to counseling, let's go to therapy. All of those things are important. And if you're in a relationship with someone that you have different styles, I'm all for counseling. I'm all for therapy. I'm all for talking about the future and talking about your feelings and getting things out into the open. But you also need to bond. And sometimes one of the fastest ways we can bond with someone is being in a situation where we have a chance to be ourselves, to have fun, to not feel like we're being judged. So you need to play with your Gemini. You and your Gemini need to play. Especially if you're feeling like, oh man, I just don't know if we have the chemistry or the passion, or I feel like that loving connection is gone. Your Gemini needs to bond. Your Gemini needs some quality time. Your Gemini needs time to laugh and play and have fun together. And that's going to bring back the connection. Okay, my darlings, next we have temptation. Temptation. So this is a major arcana card, and major arcana cards come up when we're dealing with a soul contract, like a very significant soul connection. Typically, when I see the temptation card, or in traditional tarot, This card number 15 here would be the Devil card. This is telling me that there's a lot of lust and a lot of passion that's keeping this relationship going. Okay, like we already saw that Seven of Pentacles. This is a lot of work. Like you guys are very different in a lot of ways. And so, but there's just this strong lustiness that keeps you all together. So that Seven of Air, that sense of loss could be the sadness, because you might feel like, I just don't know if this person loves me. Like maybe the chemistry, the physical chemistry is off the charts, and you guys are wanting to work this out, and you guys are wanting to take the relationship more seriously, but it's gonna feel like a lot of work. But that lust, that passion, that attraction seems to be bringing you back together time and time again. There's a decision that you're gonna have to make about this connection, okay, if you're dealing with this Gemini. This Gemini, physical comfort is going to be very important for them. Okay, so if you're looking for the kind of relationship where it's like, oh, you know, we could like, you know, go for a walk down the street, or we could go to the grocery store and we could have a ton of fun together. This Gemini is not looking for that. This Gemini wants to have passion, wants to have excitement. They want to have nice things. They want to have that lavish life. So Crosswatcher, I feel things are going to be happening in the month of July. That's going to help you have an understanding, a better understanding of what this person is looking for, like their idea of a successful life or a happy life. And for some of you, you might feel you want something deeper than that. You might feel like, well, I want more than the money or the comfort or the sexiness or the passion. Like I want to have deep emotional conversations. I want to have these intense, you know, discussions about our feelings, or I want to feel emotional intimacy. Usually when I see the Temptation card or the Devil card, it's telling me there's not going to be a lot of emotional intimacy in this relationship. It's going to be more of like a, sometimes even a karmic connection, or an earthly connection, a very lusty connection. And so, Crosswatcher, you're going to have to decide if that works for you or not. That's going to be up to you. I would highly recommend that you watch the July love reading for your sign, not the cross watcher for your sign, the love reading for your sign, because that's going to probably bring in a lot more information, and you can maybe put the puzzle pieces together and figure it out from there. The love readings for July should be up within about 48 hours after these videos are posted. And then once they are posted, I will go and I will put the links into these videos. But I would strongly suggest watching that. And guys, I know love is like important. It's a part of human nature. We all want love. We all want romance. It's understandable. It's normal. I get it. But sometimes we get so into the love readings and the cross-watcher readings that we forget about ourselves. We forget about our life. We forget about us. And that's why every single week, every week, I do a weekly forecast for each zodiac sign, just to focus on you, nobody else but you and your journey. So please, 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 guys, don't forget about yourselves. I know the cross-watching videos can be fun. I know the love videos, you know, people are very, very interested in their love life, but don't forget about you and all the other areas of your life. So please take advantage of the weekly forecasts. Watch those as well. If you would like a private reading, you can click on the Calendly link in the description and you can go ahead and schedule a private reading with me. But I thank you so much for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting. Thank you for being here, my darlings. I am wishing you a fabulous July.